Hello, everyone. Welcome to Word Funk. I am Leon Thomas. With me, as always, is Austin Yorsky and Johnny Maloney. Hey, guys, you know what I just learned today? I was wrong about everything in my life.
All of it?
Yeah. Well, no, not all of it, but a part of it. A part of it.
Leon, this is serious.
Yeah, it's super serious. I always thought that my favorite Michael Jackson song was "Eye to Eye" from a Goofy movie soundtrack, but it turns out he doesn't sing that song. It just sounds exactly like him, and the character is modeled after him. Apparently, it's actually sung by someone named, and I hope I'm saying this right, Tevin Campbell, which is the first time I've ever heard someone being named Tevin and not Kevin. I feel like that's a misprint, and they just went with it after birth. But yeah, apparently Michael Jackson did not sing that song, so now I don't know what my favorite Michael Jackson song is, and I feel like Black is White and Up is Down all of a sudden.
Leon, obviously, the best Michael Jackson song is the one he did for Sonic 3. Come on.
No, you're both wrong. The best Michael Jackson song is the one he did on The Simpsons.
I guess in order to figure out what my favorite Michael Jackson song actually is, I'm going to have to devote some time into my life to listening to his entire discography. But that's a lot of time to spend towards, learning about a dead pedophile hologram. So
You could do a Renegade cut episode on it and just make it around like his music videos or something.
Yeah, remember back in it was like the early 90s. Austin, you may not remember because you barely existed or something. But back in the early 90s, like on Fox, I think it was, whenever there was a new Michael Jackson music video, there was like a world premiere in prime time of it. Like Black or White got like a world premiere. It was like a big deal. Not like on MTV, but like on network television. And then when Remember the Time came out, they did the same thing, and he was an Egyptian somehow, and he spun around and turned into sand, and that was just a thing that we did at that time. So there's a thing I wanted to talk about, and it's we talked about it a couple weeks ago, and that's True Detective. But there's news. We were talking about the rumors a couple weeks ago, but there is news about casting for the second season of True Detective. And the big casting news is that Colin Farrell and Vince Vaughn will play the two, I guess, main characters, or at least two male leads. There are apparently female leads, but they haven't been announced yet. So
I don't believe you. Women in movies and television and the workplace.
Wow.
And the United Nations.
Oh,
really?
But yes. Anyway,
No one could think of anything to say. Like, there's no segue from that.
Yeah. Vince Vaughn will play a character named Frank, and I'm probably going to say this wrong. Frank Semyon. A career criminal in danger of losing his empire when his move into legitimate enterprise is upended by murder of a business partner. And Colin Farrell will play Ray Velcoro, who is basically a detective who has... He's a cop, but there's mobsters who basically own him because of favors, and I really don't know too much about what's going to happen in the season. Nobody really does, but we've just given really loose character descriptions.
I can make a prediction here.
Okay.
I think there's probably going to be some nihilistic dialogue.
You think? I would think they would take it in a completely different direction. I know you're joking, Johnny, but would you think they would retread the same ground?
I don't think they're necessarily going to retread the same ground, but I think it's going to be related.
I would think they would try to, like, I don't know, do you guys watch American Horror Story?
Oh, yeah.
It's that, what's the word for that, where they do, like, a different...
Oeuvre?
No, oeuvre, doesn't that just mean work? It's a,
No, it means, it's like a body of work, a style.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, literally. I'm just completely drawing a blank about the word, but like, every season's a different, like, thing.
Genre?
I mean, they're all of them are horror.
Right. Well, I know what you mean. Yeah. For anyone who's listening who doesn't know what American Horror Story has never seen the show, the first season is, I mean, it's all horror, but the first season is about a haunted house, the second season is about an asylum, and the third season is about a bunch of witches, and the fourth season will apparently be about a freak show. It's all horror, and the style is similar, but they're completely different stories. I hope that True Detective has like a similar dark, brooding, and not just that, because that's common, but legitimately like thoughtful, sad kind of vibe to it, and continue on in season 2. But I want a completely different story. I don't want
anthology.
Anthology. Oh,
that's the word I was looking for. Fuck me. No. Sorry, I just completely derailed this. But that's the word I was looking for. Also, Fargo is doing that.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm certainly looking forward to. I wouldn't say more of the same, but the same feel, just with completely different characters and a completely different story and a completely different setting. I don't. If it True Detective season 2 is just another cop show that's completely different from season 1, then it almost feels like, why call it the same thing?
I guess what I'm saying is I still want like a dark, kind of gritty cop show with like interesting cinematography and, you know, fleshed out characters. I just would think thematically they would move to like from like Lovecraftian, you know, existentialism to another theme.
Well,
yeah.
I think the Lovecraftian, I think the cosmic horror is going to stay in.
Okay.
I think it's going to be like it probably, because I mean, you know, the thing about the first season is they kind of played it smart on the whole cosmic horror. They didn't really tip their hand. They alluded to it constantly, but it was never really like, oh my God, tentacle monsters.
That would be a very different show.
That would be an extremely different show.
So you think they're going to come out swinging with tentacles this time?
I do not think they're going to come swinging out with tentacles this time. I just think that it's going to be like that they're probably still going to be holding their cards close to their chest, but that's going to be, I feel, an underlying theme in the show. Because I know that show creator Nick Pizzolatto is a huge fan of cosmic horror. Like, he loves it. You know, he loves the Lovecraftian horror. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is the glue that holds True Detective together.
All right.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think
that's fine.
Because even the name True Detective kind of suggests that it's like that there's something that other people are not noticing.
It makes me think of like a pulp novel or something from like the 40s. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But yeah, those kind of like...
That would be like Man's Detective. And then as a horrible pun, like the main character would be like named like Hayfrid Man or something like that. And they'd be like, Hayfrid Man. Hayfrid Man's a real man's detective. He does what other men don't do. He jumps into the thick of it. He punches guys who need punchings. And when the dames need lovin', he's the guy for her. And then there'd be like spinning text.
Can you do this entire thing in radio talk voice?
I suppose I could try.
No, please don't. Please don't try. Don't even.
Okay, are we going to actually talk about the casting? Because I know the big deal about the show the first season was how fucking crazy good Matthew McConaughey was. Are we even expecting them to try to match up to that performance, or do you think they're going to be...
Well... You know, I mean, I think there's going to be already has been some backlash against Vince Vaughn being cast because he's primarily, at least, you know, in the past 10 years or so, been primarily known as a comedy actor, but he did dramatic roles earlier in his career.
You've seen Play Pigeons, right, Leon?
I have not.
All right.
The end. That derailed your whole point. No, but all I heard about his dramatic roles were that he's so good in these, and then he became a comedy actor and people were disappointed, and now apparently he's going to try that again and people are disappointed.
How can you be disappointed in Dodgeball?
I haven't seen that one either. I guess my filmography knowledge of Vince Vaughn is lacking. But
You're Vince Vaughnless is what you are.
So the point I'm trying to make is that, it wasn't that long ago when Matthew McConaughey was known for a completely different kind of movie too, and then like a year into the McConaissance, he starts doing True Detective. And
again, similarly though, Matthew McConaughey did have a role in a horror movie with Bill Paxton. Oh, the name escapes me. It was like Delivered, I think. I think it was Delivered.
Okay. Did he deliver things?
No. It was a story about a pair of sons who had been raised by like a super religious father who was convinced that he could see demons.
Oh, Frailty.
Yes, Frailty.
Why did you say Delivered?
I have no idea. I don't know.
I'm sorry. It's just I have no problem. I mean, I forget shit all the time, but just the fact that you were certain it was a completely different title too.
I'm sorry if I sounded. I'm sorry if I sounded. Oh, there go my headphones.
The best part of the show.
I'm sorry if I sounded certain, but I was holding my arm up in the air as though I was trying to divine some kind of message from the Internet Movie Database through the air, and it was not happening. In fact, it sent me in a rather sideways direction.
Right. Frailty is a really good movie, by the way. I mean, let's not give away the twists and turns for anyone in the audience who has still not seen Frailty, but go see Frailty.
Yeah, watch Frailty. It's got a dramatic Matthew McConaughey in it. And you'll be like, I recognize this Matthew McConaughey. How did we miss this Matthew McConaughey back in 2000?
It was a while back. Frailty was a long time ago but here's the thing. I mean, Vince Vaughn, he's not like the most relevant actor, but he's still a name. And the fact that they're getting like big names for like a TV show is still something that it's hard to wrap our heads around, even now that it's been happening for a few years now. What about Colin Farrell? How do you feel about Colin Farrell being in this?
Colin Farrell gives me a boner.
All right.
I mean, that's true. I agree with that also. I don't know how that has to do with his body of work.
Austin.
What's happening?
Did you see Seven Psychopaths?
I have not, no.
Did you see In Bruges?
Of course.
I've seen both of those things, and he was very good in both.
Fantastic. Yeah. Austin. Boom!
Sorry.
Lower billing!
Someone made a joke on the Twitter that it was actually pretty good. It said Colin Farrell and Vince Vaughn have been cast in True Detective Season 2. It will take place entirely in a 2006 issue of People magazine. So, yeah. They were a bigger deal a few years back, but maybe this will be much like, the resurgence of Matthew McConaughey. Maybe this will be something that helps their career. I mean, this is a big show.
Yeah, if this wasn't the show that, like, made me think differently about McConaughey, I would have more reservations about this. But this is exactly the kind of thing that would get me interested in their, like, serious work again. I don't have any problem with it. Although, like we talked about before, I prefer to know the female leads. Presumably, there's at least one other cop, because you said that one of the two guys is going to be the villain, right? Or
he's owned by the mob.
Yeah,
there's the cop and the criminal.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're at odds with each other, gentlemen.
Yeah,
true.
It's funny because a couple of months back, all I was hearing about True Detective Season 2 was, in the second season, the leads will be women. I'm like, oh, cool. And now all we know are Colin Farrell and Vince Vaughn, and I mean, I guess there's 4 leads now, which is, I mean, that sounds strange, but I guess True Detective Season 1, there really wasn't a lead. There were 2 main characters and other characters that still had huge roles in it, so...
Yeah. I mean, that would differentiate it. If they did every season of True Detective with 2 main cops, right, solving one case, I would feel like that might get a little old after a while. So mixing it up, having a bigger focus, bigger cast to focus on.
I mean, if this is a ensemble season, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Some of the women who are being auditioned or considered, I guess you could say, are Rosario Dawson, Jessica Biel, and a bunch of people I don't know. I'm sorry, Elizabeth Moss. I know, I sort of know who she is. But yeah, I mean, Jessica Biel? Really? I don't really see her as... But let me rephrase that. I don't see Jessica Biel in anything. Ever. I'm not being a jerk. I mean, she's literally in nothing now.
Isn't she mostly like romantic comedies?
I don't even know. I mean, wasn't she in that show?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, okay, good. If
I don't actually
the right
know.
person. No, Jessica Biel, wasn't she the one from Seventh Heaven? Or am I wrong?
Yes.
Okay, wait.
You are right. You
Okay.
are correct.
But
I'm
yeah.
sorry. That was a bad answer. Actually, it was a mathematician's answer, yes or no. No, but I was having an argument with my brother earlier today about this, and I was arguing that Colin Farrell was the best part of the Daredevil movie, and he did not agree.
What
do you guys think?
But wait a minute. What does he think was the best part of the Daredevil movie?
Okay, now, wait, disclaimer. We're not talking about a good part of the Daredevil movie. We're talking about the best part of the Daredevil movie, which is a relative term.
Sliding scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said Ben Affleck, and then we just argued about Ben Affleck for like half an hour. So he never really went into depth about that, but I don't know. I thought
Does he just like looking at Ben Affleck? Because that would explain it.
Really? Ben Affleck is like the most normal, like just plain dude. He has like no defining features, like as a guy, dude.
He's got a strong chin.
Nah.
He's just like if I was trying to explain humans to aliens, I'd be like, look at Ben Affleck, just the most average normal dude. 2 arms, 2 legs, head. He talks with words. That's just an average dude. I don't know. He does nothing for me.
He was good in The Town.
Oh yeah.
But in literally every other movie, even the movies that people say he was good in, I just found him passable.
Oh, he's good in Dogma. What was that fucking noise?
That was me trying to explain that I don't like Dogma in grunts. But
I love Dogma.
Whatever. I've looking back at Kevin Smith's comedy films, I like them less and less the more I think about them. I really liked Red State, and I've yet to see Tusk, but I can't really. I've fallen out of love with the Kevin Smith comedies that I liked when I was a kid, if that makes any sense. Even Dogma, which even for a movie about religion was fairly preachy.
I love Dogma, and I also like Clerks, and I think that Red State's okay. We might talk about that some other time. Right. I need more room to theorize, but I guess we're moving to the next topic.
Yeah, let's talk about video games.
Unless Johnny wants to back me up on Dogma, you jerk.
I fucking loved Dogma.
Yeah. Suck it, Leon.
Whatever. Alright, let's move on. We've taken a lot of time.
All right, fine. Moving on from movies about Jesus, we're now going to talk about video games that might as well be about Jesus because the company is pretty much just as rich as the Vatican. I am talking about Blizzard. If you didn't know that Blizzard was one of the richest companies in video games by now, maybe you'd be interested to know that for the past 7 years, they've been working on a brand new MMO, tentatively titled Titan. And just this week, they decided, fuck it, we don't want to do it anymore. And they flushed anywhere between $50 to $140 million down the drain, analysts are predicting. Why, you might ask? And this is a real quote. We didn't find the fun. That comes directly from Blizzard co-founder and CEO Mike Morhaime.
Now, I read that quote. Does that mean that they weren't having fun making it, or did they mean they did not make the game fun?
Both.
Yeah. I'm assuming that it's probably some grim combination of the two.
Okay.
Yeah, the project went through several different forms. Like they would start working on it, and then scrap it, start over, working on it, and basically they just couldn't. Like they weren't. It wasn't anything they wanted to make or play. So they just flushed 7 years of work and millions of dollars away like it was nothing. I mean, it sounds like a lot of money, but they bring in that in 2 days in Warcraft. So.
Well, I mean, doesn't World of Warcraft still make huge amount of money? I mean, I certainly would. I don't want to say anything that sounds like I would want someone to stifle their creativity just to make money. But if World of Warcraft as their MMO is still churning out lots and lots of money, why don't they just let that run and make other non-MMO games?
And that's essentially what they're doing. There was in the article, this is Polygon got the scoop on this. They were talking about how after World of Warcraft got big, they thought they were obligated to make the next big MMO, to make their quote unquote next gen MMO. But then they realized they don't want to be the MMO company. They have the best MMO, which is World of Warcraft, and they have the best real time strategy, which is StarCraft, the best action loot RPG in Diablo. They have Hearthstone, and they're working on Heroes of the Storm. They're basically just one genre.
Can we
at a time.
please amend your usage of the word best to most popular?
Okay, that's fair. I don't actually like Blizzard's games. I don't think that's really relevant to the conversation, but I don't enjoy any of them. They're just really super fucking popular and well-loved.
Yeah, I know, Austin. I'm really sorry. It's just that everybody's all Johnny's a PC gamer, Johnny's a PC gamer. I don't like Blizzard's games either.
Okay.
I didn't like Diablo 3. I played the beta for a little while. Didn't like it. World of Warcraft may have very well been the best MMO of its time, but I got over it. And StarCraft 2, I made a joke when StarCraft 2 came out that Blizzard did not hand out demo or review copies. I was like, yeah, they did. They just did it 12 years ago, and it was called StarCraft. Oh, burn.
That's the thing they do, is that they make the best possible version of a genre for certain
prototypical,
the archetype.
Yeah.
They strip it down to the Skinner box that makes it acceptable. They put their ugly art style on it, and people love it. And that's what they do for every genre. So when they're making this Titan game, which is supposedly half Sims, half MMO, and they're we're just kind of making a not as fun WoW. What's the point? And I actually kind of respect that they would just scrap all of that work and just be let's do something fun. That's kind of cool. Not every company can do that, obviously, for financial reasons. But I think it speaks to their design, their development philosophy of only doing the best they possibly can.
It certainly speaks to a respect that they have for their customers, as well as the very idea. Because there's a certain concept of video games as being, simple entertainment. I'm not going to get into that discussion now because it's far longer and requires more attention, deeper reading, and better words that I'm currently capable of using.
Good talking.
Good talks. Good words spoke best. But we don't know how history is going to look back on them. And judging, at least anyways, from how history looks back on even just the past 30 years of gaming, you can already see that Blizzard is on track to be a legacy. The fact that World of Warcraft is as eternal as it is right now, and for so many years, that StarCraft was adopted as the national sport of Korea.
Yep.
These are not shallow boasts. So,
yeah, any company would love to have even one of their successes, let alone this stable. It's actually pretty baffling, especially when you see because they're Activision Blizzard now, so we can add at least in the balance sheets, Call of Duty, Skylanders, Destiny, Guitar Hero. Tony Hawk isn't around anymore, but still, those are all things people will remember. Those are going to go down as important video game properties in history.
When I lived in Korea, every once in a while I would ask my students, what do you want to be when you grow up? And a few of them said something, and I thought it was just their accent, and I thought they were saying programmer, but they were they were saying pro gamer. I just hadn't heard that term at the time. They were talking about playing PC games as like a profession, as a sport. So yeah, that is a thing that Blizzard helped create.
Absolutely, they did, yeah. And it's huge now when you look at the business that League of Legends is doing, that Dota 2 is doing. Even like speedrunning and things like that. Like this summer, my biological brother, from the same mother, was invited to Summer Games Done Quick.
I do. Is the speedrunning stream thing?
Yeah, the speedrunning stream. It's like a weekend-long event where speedrunners go through their kind of like chosen game or do like little, funny bits or something like that for charity, and people pledge to like each speedrunner has a charity that they go for. And my brother was doing La Mulana this year, and he got invited. And it's like, broadcast on Twitch, which is becoming an increasingly bigger deal for it to be like a big event and things like that. So yeah, Blizzard helped create that.
Do you know what the prize money was for the last Dota 2 tournament, like the big one?
Wasn't it like 800,000 or something?
1.42 million.
Jeez. This
is not a small thing. I think Blizzard deserves all the respect in the world for what they've done for video games, even if I don't like any of the things they make. that feels like I'm going to have to throw in there, because someone's going to be like, Austin, I thought you hated Diablo 3. Yes, I hate Diablo 3. It's not the point. The point is, it's really cool that somebody is still allowed to make those kind of decisions in this industry. Like you'd never see like Ubisoft. Well, actually, no. Here's
EA. EA would not.
Here's the perfect. I actually have a case study. Final Fantasy 13, Square Enix. It was not done. Like, they faked an E3 video for it. Do you remember this? When they released, like, footage of the game that wasn't gameplay? It was made to look like gameplay. It was not done. A character changed gender near the end of development, and they didn't have time to rewrite any of her lines. Although that makes that character like the most interesting person in the game. But it was a fucking debacle. It wasn't ready. It wasn't done. But the people who count the money said, kick it out the door.
Yeah.
We spent too much money on the Crystal Tools engine and needs to make money back. And then they made 2 more sequels because they needed that money back. Yeah. That's something Blizzard would never do. If the game isn't everything it can be, no one gets to pay money for it. And I got to tip my hat to that. That's super cool.
Yeah, when they write the book on video games, and I mean, like, they've already written books on video games, but, like, the book, I would not be fucked off if Blizzard was on the front cover.
Right. You get Pac-Man, Mario, and then maybe, I don't know, any fucking Warcraft characters, but one of those guys.
Like, it'd be Pac-Man, Warcraft, Pac-Man, Mario, probably fucking Doom, and then World of Warcraft.
Oh, Doom. I love me some Doom.
Do you remember when first-person shooters were called Doom clones?
Yeah. Basically, every new first-person shooter, it's just a Doom clone. It's a Doom clone. It's like, no, it's a genre now.
I pine for those simple days.
Man, Call of Duty's such a Doom clone.
I wish. That would be awesome, actually.
I would actually play. I would play a really. Oh well. All right.
No, I mean, seriously, could you imagine that? Could you imagine Call of Duty doing Doom? That'd be fucking hilarious.
They should do it as like a $15 like downloadable game.
That'd be like no. They wouldn't be able to do that. They'd have to put big names in it. It would be like coming this fall, Doom, starring the resurrected voice of Marlon Brando.
They use the Tupac hologram.
We have to get to the moon. The moon of Phobos.
Something like that.
That's my bad Marlon Brando. Late old Marlon Brando impression.
So. Apocalypse Now, Brando?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright.
I dig it.
Oh, Brando.
Do you want to move on to the other video game topic?
right before we do that, do you guys remember StarCraft Ghost?
I do remember StarCraft Ghost.
That was a turning point for me, because I was super excited about that, and when Blizzard canceled it, that was when I basically stopped being a PC gamer for a while, and I don't know, my life went in a different direction. It occurs to me that I could be Johnny right now.
What do you mean you could be Johnny? Austin, you and I are, like, in the fucking same place, practically. The only reason why I don't own a Wii U is because I don't have any fucking friends.
I'm going to quote you on that.
So sad. I have nothing more to say about this one.
But that's just to finish this subject. It was a third-person shooter, and they're like, this isn't up to our standards, and they canceled it. And I think it's more complicated than that, but it's just another cool thing about them, is that they usually, auction house notwithstanding, do what they can.
They're pretty baller.
Also, it speaks to the growing irrelevancy of MMOs as we know them. That's a shrinking market. It's going all free to play.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it would be really great if people realize that in order to beat the top dog, you don't copy the top dog, but have less features than the top dog. You have to outdo them creatively, content-wise, service-wise.
Yep. That's why MMOs isn't really a genre that much. It's basically just people doing Warcraft again.
Yeah.
So, anyway, speaking of games, got another video game store here. You guys excited?
Thrilled.
What was that noise, Johnny?
That was
Ghost.
I was getting worked up.
Okay.
Talk Japanese to me, Austin.
So at the Tokyo Game Show, Square showed a trailer for Final Fantasy 15. And yeah, I know. Everyone was, it looks so good. But then there were some interviews with the new director, because Tetsuya Nomura is out. He's moving on. He's on to Kingdom Hearts 3. And there's a new guy. Well, he's not new, but there's the new director of Final Fantasy 15 gave an interview in which he said, I'm getting old. Buttons confuse me. And I think he basically, he retooled the Final Fantasy 15 battle system to be much simpler, basically a one-button system is how it's being described. And people are furious, and I think it's hilarious, actually.
So what you're trying to tell me is that the design philosophy of Final Fantasy 15 is now, get off my lawn, you goddamn punks.
I've long been for simplicity in design. I think complexity for its own sake it doesn't benefit anyone. Like, I don't want to memorize, like, all kinds of shit, like all kinds of combos or whatever, just for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, the most perfect design is like chess, right? There's like 6 different pieces, and they have their own rules, but that's it.
Hell, I'll beat you on that. Go. There's one fucking piece.
Exactly, but it's how they interact that's interesting. Like, if you have a video game... A video game controller has a bunch of buttons, but you don't need to use them all. You don't get extra points for that. And I don't actually disagree with making Final Fantasy 15 more simple to interact with. It doesn't mean you have to dumb down, like, systems or make it easy, although he did speak to wanting to make it more accessible.
Can I write a quick open-air letter before you continue, Leon, to developers? It's only going to be one sentence.
Go for it.
Dear developers, stop making fucking jumping puzzles. Sincerely, fucking everybody.
I've said in the past on the BT podcast, we haven't discussed it on WordFunk, so I'll say it now. Although I kind of liked Final Fantasy 12, changing the battle system to something that you set up beforehand and then just kind of watch it go was something that really took me out of the game and made it less exciting for me. Now, that's not true of everyone, and that's fine. But for me, I always feel like fight, item, magic, run is very simplistic, but you have to think. Turn-based stuff makes you think about managing your time, managing what you can do in this turn. I am told I've yet to play Final Fantasy 13, and one of the biggest reasons why is I'm told that it's worse, that the combat system is worse, and that since apparently the story is nothing to write home about, that was like the Final Fantasy game where I said I'm not actually going to play this one, even though I've just consistently played Final Fantasy games whenever they came out, starting with 6 back then. I've played earlier ones since, and that was the one that I just didn't even feel like buying. If they do something like this again, unless I hear like it's the most riveting story ever, then I really don't see bothering with it. But that's me, you know. My JRPG interests may differ from others. You know, your mileage may vary.
I think, I mean, the ATB system, Leon, the fight magic item run. Square perfected it, and it seemed like they got bored with it at around like 9 or 10. They just haven't gone back to it. I feel like they feel that they've reached the peak of that kind of design. There's no more work to be done there. It's basically perfected. So I don't mind them experimenting with new things. I think the problem with 13 is that it sucked. Like, the thing they tried was not good.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean they can't try new things necessarily.
You know what? I would be actually fine, even though this is the absence of creativity. What I'm about to say, I would be fine if in the next Final Fantasy game they just copied the tail system, where I'm, basically it's a button mashy combo fight scene where you also kind of have to stop it every once in a while and try an item and a different thing here and there.
Yeah, Tales is like a fighting game almost in disguise.
I really enjoy that. I mean, it's different, but there's enough of that turn-based. There's little bits and pieces of turn-based stuff in there, like secretly. Like when you use an item, you have to kind of wait a certain amount of seconds. Or like, I need to use another item really quick, and then you figure it out. And there's stuff like that, but mostly it engages you in every second of the combat, which I appreciate. Whereas Final Fantasy 12 was on autopilot pretty much the whole time. I guess that made it easier, but it also made it easier, and that's a bad thing sometimes.
We're going to get comments, so I'm just going to say it now. Both 12 and 13 are, like, just to get from the opening scene to the end credits, are super basically on autopilot easy, but yes, there are, like, optional areas where you need to use strategy. Like, that doesn't make the systems good, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, if people are like, you just hit X the whole time and Final Fantasy 13 beats itself, and then someone's like, well, there's secret bosses that are really hard. It's like, that's not a conversation.
Side quest does not count.
Yeah.
That's like being like, every day I go to work and I work my job and I'm kind of getting bored with it. And it's like, well, you could get involved in an underground street racing group.
Oh, geez. That's also, people say that about Destiny. Oh, it gets really good after 20 hours. It's like, after 10 hours, I was like, yep, that was good, and then I put it back in the game. That's not an excuse to sit through several other games worth of content to get to the good part of the game. Anyway, Final Fantasy 15, they showed a short gameplay trailer. It kind of looks like Kingdom Hearts. Leon, you like Kingdom Hearts?
I played part of the first one, and that's basically, that should answer your question. No.
So the system looks like, you walk around with the left control stick, right? And then you push the button, he swings the sword. But the thing is that it's like contextual. Like if you're in melee range, the button will like swing the sword. If you're farther back, it uses like magic. That's the one button system they're kind of talking about. So I think positioning is going to be important. I think like, using the right element or whatever is going to be important. But I don't think you're going to have to memorize like combos, and you're not going to have to like manage a bunch of different like party members because you only control the one guy. So I think people are mad about the missing complexity. But I love Kingdom Hearts. Like that system works fine. Like what's wrong with that?
I'm just gonna throw in something that I can relate to here. That's pretty much a one-button system. I mean, one-button attack, and that's like Arkham, the Arkham games.
Yeah, I mean, there's the counter move, right?
Yeah.
And the punch, basically.
So you've got a defense move and then a hit move.
Yeah, I don't know if they showed that functionality, but I assume Final Fantasy 15 will have a block or evade of some sort. So that to me is fine. Yeah. I don't see any problem with that.
Go on, Leon, Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts. I can't remember why I stopped playing it. It may have just been boredom, but for some reason I bought it. I played a few hours of it, and for some reason I just said, I'm okay not playing this anymore, and that was it. So I think that means I didn't like it enough. If I ever go back to it, maybe I would like it again on a retry of it. But I have plenty of other games I could be playing that are more promising to me.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I didn't even.
Oh yeah, you guys don't talk about.
No, I mean we don't have to. I'm just.
No.
By all means. I mean let's finish the topic. Please.
Okay. Yeah. If there's any other thoughts about this, we can go right ahead before I talk about the game that Johnny wants me to talk about.
This is a great segue because I know what game you guys played. And the reason, Johnny sent me a key, I haven't played it yet, is because I'm hearing that it still needs some patching because it's a little finicky. There's some things that need to be smoothed out, which is what I'm kind of getting to. I prefer simple and clear with, more organic, the gameplay isn't complicated for its own sake. Like the chess, the checkers, that kind of metaphor I was using. Fire Emblem is essentially that.
Yeah.
But the game you guys have been playing seems to be complicated.
Okay, let me tell you about Wasteland 2. And when I say let me tell you about Wasteland 2, I mean let me tell you about the character creation screen in Wasteland 2 and the first 10 minutes of the game.
Did you get mauled to death immediately?
I'm gonna. It's hard to. All right, let
him tell its story. This is like Austin. We talk about creating your own stories in games.
Yep.
This
is the emergent narrative.
This is emergent narrative right here.
All right. So a little backstory. I don't play a lot of PC games. If I do play a PC game, it's one of those games that you could also play on consoles, and there's just a PC version of it that I got on cheap for Steam, so I figured I'll get it that way. When I say I don't play PC games, what I mean is I rarely play games that are specifically designed for the PC that are very PC-like. Games that deal with a lot of minutia and simulations and things like that. Also, anything that I can't use a controller for is just awful to me. But Johnny sent me a message and says, "Hey, I have a copy of Wasteland 2 because I was a backer on Kickstarter. Do you want it?" And I'm like, well, if it's free.
Wait. We should also mention that I said, additionally, I don't really think that you're gonna like it, but.
Yeah, you said you had some doubts that because it's not really my thing. But you know what? Free is my favorite word, and if I have a free game that I can play, then I'm probably going to take it and try it. I recently, in my office, which is really just the other room in my apartment, down the hall from the kitchen and the bedroom, it's a little place where I mostly just sit and work on my episodes. But I recently hooked the PC up to a nice HD TV so that it looks almost like I'm playing a console game. Here's the thing. I can't really play Wasteland 2 like it's a console game because there are so many buttons that I have to play it with the keyboard. And maybe there is a way to jerry-rig my controller to do everything I need to do on it, but I haven't found it yet. Anyway, so that was my first surprise, that I can't use this really nice Tron limited edition Xbox controller on this PC. But anyway, so I loaded up Wasteland 2, and it took a while to get started, and then it optimized my graphic stuff, and I said, well, that's neat. Oh, no, let me backtrack. First I had to get 5 drivers, and that took forever. What is with that, PC? But anyway, so I started playing the game, and I pressed start, and immediately I realized that I'm not playing an RPG in the way that I played, for example, Tales of Grace's F, which I beat, by the way, but I'll talk about that later. In that these characters have clearly defined characteristics and personality traits, and that they're going to go through character arcs and defeat the enemy with the power of love. They're just characters that I'm going to sort of build up in stats, and they have very loosely defined everything else. But so instead of even bothering with those, there was this other option that says create your own character. And I'm like, oh, I'm all about that shit. So I created 4 characters, and they let me do bios for them. So that was great. So I customized their stats. I mean, I have no idea what's going to be useful in this game because this is not my kind of game, at least not my kind of RPG. And I
toaster repair is surprisingly useful.
Okay.
I want a picture of Leon sitting at a computer, like with Wasteland on the screen, and it just says, "I've made a huge mistake."
So here are my 4 characters. I hope I remember their names right. The character who I've decided is the leader of our group. Her name is Bane Odengard, and she's a Viking warrior immigrant that came to America, and she's deluded and thinks that Odin wants her to bring about the apocalypse. That is her backstory. Also in the bio it says her favorite color is purple. And I decided that she's both the leader and the medic, so I gave her field combat stuff like first aid and surgery. My second character, his name, and I managed to fit all of this into the name slot. His name is Tim Tipperary, Gentleman Bastard. And his backstory is that he grew up on the streets of Blackpool, and he's a con man, and he's just a straight up asshole. And I think I gave him.
What a gentleman!
Oh yeah. He thinks he is anyway.
We need to play a tabletop RPG, the 3 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The third character, her name is Boxcar Sally, and she is a former Las Vegas casino tycoon turned hobo. I forget what I gave her. Oh yeah, she has a bunch of like technical knowledge, like lockpicking and shit. Yeah. No, I actually gave no one toaster repair, and now I regret it. The fourth and final character, he has a mask, and his name is Dr. America. So Dr. America. Oh, what was his real name? I said, in the bio, I said, his real name is, Shirtless name? Shirtless, Pantless, Nicholas Naked. But his fake name, his pro wrestling name is Dr. America. He's a pro wrestler, turned, ranger. And, he is actually secretly a cannibal and secretly Scottish. And those are my 4 characters. And
Wait, is Scottish more secret than cannibal? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Priorities.
Yeah, he just fakes an American accent like Hugh Laurie or something.
Well,
so,
I'm pretty sure that when Leon created the character, the referendum had not yet been, so we didn't know how ashamed we were going to be of the Scots.
Oh my. So anyway, no, actually, I'll just say that I did this yesterday. So, I created the characters yesterday. What was my point? Oh yeah. So then I pressed start, and I started the game. And General Vargas is like the leader of the Desert Rangers, and he gives me these instructions. And then there's like a pause where I have to say something, and there's this like blank space where I can type in stuff. So I'm like, oh shit, this is like Leisure Suit Larry. I can just type my responses, and then the computer will figure out what I'm trying to say. So I had Bane Odengard said, "By Odin's beard, I will destroy our enemies." And General Vargas says, "We don't have time for that now," or something like that. And so no, it's just a bunch of talking conversation trees, and I clicked all of them and learned what I needed to know, and then I walked off. But instead of immediately leaving base to do my first mission, some guy said something like, "I wish I had that can over there." And I'm like, "Oh, cool, side quest." So I walked over and tried to pick up the can, and a goat hit me. And the dude said, "Haha, I wanted you to get hit by the goat, so I told you about the can." And I'm like, that was a real dick move. I'm gonna murder you. So there are these 3 guys who are totally on my side, and I start this horrible, like, ground war against them. Just scorched earth. And, I realized I should not have done this. The fight started to not go my way. And then I just said, you know what? I saved my game right before I tried to pick up the thing, so maybe I'll just stop now, because I had other shit to do anyway. So I did not learn what the outcome of the fight was even going to be, so I left the game, and that's how far I've gotten into the game at this point. really nowhere. Johnny, your thoughts on the game while we have time, which we have very little.
I'm enjoying it so far, Austin. I haven't seen as many of the bugs that you've mentioned. I mean, you haven't mentioned any bugs, but you've mentioned that it is buggy from what you've seen.
Yeah, I was reading up on it. It seemed like there's some patches incoming, so I was waiting for it a little bit.
There might be. My opinion might be a little needed by the fact that I had access to the beta. And every now and then I would kind of like jump in and like look at stuff and be like, okay, all right, I see what they've done here with the UI and, you know, this and that. And, they added a headshot and things like that. But it's scratching exactly the itch that I wanted it to scratch.
Are you liking it more than Shadowrun Returns? Because I fucking dug that game.
Yeah, I am liking it more than Shadowrun Returns.
Oh, that's good. Because, yeah. I mean, I don't play too many CRPGs these days, but I do enjoy them when I get the chance. And I was basically just looking for more Shadowrun, but with more story and characters and stuff. Because the Dead Man's Switch campaign was fine, but it was a little short and a little bit simple. And my understanding is that Wasteland 2 is a very large game full of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
so,
it's got troves of either treasure or trash.
Are you role-playing it like you have to live with your consequences? Like if someone does a practical joke on you and you burn them to the ground, do you live with that or do you just reload?
To a certain extent, yeah. Yeah, to a certain extent I am. I am quick saving and quick loading after skill checks.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know, if it's like, you have a 10% chance to sew this guy up in surgery, I'm like, let's go, fuck it. Then I'm like, okay. But it's like, if you have a 50% chance to stop this bomb from exploding right in the face of everybody standing near, quick load.
Yeah. I can see that. If it's something that's like detrimental to your continuing the game, maybe not living with that one.
You know, basically it's about I'm trying to mete out the way that I skill out my characters with the amount of time that I'm willing to spend quick loading against fails.
Yeah.
But when it comes to combat and when it comes to making like choices in game, I'm like, no, these are concrete.
That's cool. I know, Leon, we're running out of time. I just want to real quick hit you with a couple questions, Johnny, because the entire Kickstarter thing has brought a couple CRPG like projects out. There was Shadowrun Returns, now there's Wasteland 2. Are you more excited? I assume you backed both. Torment, Tides of Numenera, and Pillars of Eternity. Which one is looking better to you right now?
Well, it's difficult to say because they're in different stages of development.
Sure.
Pillars of Eternity is already in beta. I have access to the beta, and I'm gonna be... I don't know if anybody knows this. I mean, some people assuredly, because I announced it like it was my fucking 17-year-old debutante party on Twitter. I am going to be featured as a player character portrait in the game. So you're going to be like, when you buy Pillars of Eternity, you're like, who do I want to be? Who's that handsome guy? It might be me. But, you know, I gotta say that even though they're on, like, you know, in different levels of development, and there's a couple of names that kind of cross over. Like, I know that George Zietz is going to both. I love his game writing. And I think Colin McComb, too. I might be mistaken. But deep down, I gotta say that Pillars of Eternity is probably the one that's tugging at me the most. Because it's got Chris Avallone, it's got Colin McComb, it's got George Zietz, it's got the guy who just started Double Bear Studios, Brian Mitsoda. who's got his own Kickstarter, actually, Dead State, that's on early access right now on Steam, I think. You should check it out. It's a turn-based CRPG about zombies, where you have to, like, run missions into towns and, like, steal supplies while being quiet and crap like that. Anyways, but Pillars of Eternity, I mean, you know, mechanics are fantastic. And In Exile does and when I say In Exile, I'm like, never mind.
It's funny because the reason I ask you is because both these games look interesting, but In Exile doesn't have the track record. Like as a studio, they made Hunted the Demon's Forge, which got panned, and that's like it. Obsidian's made Alpha Protocol, which I loved, Fallout New Vegas, which I loved, South Park, which has got really great reviews. I haven't played it yet. Like Obsidian feels like it has the much stronger track record.
Well, I mean,
Torment might be the.
It would if you don't know the history of In Exile.
I know that they were in other companies, Interplay and stuff.
They were Interplay.
Yeah.
The CEO, Brian Fargo, founded and started Interplay with Bard's Quest and things like that. You know, like Bard's Tale, sorry, not Bard's Quest, Bard's Tale. So, like, I mean, Brian Fargo's got experience. He knows what he's doing. He knows the guys that should be designing certain systems, and Wasteland 2 reeks of that. It
okay,
reeks
so you don't think there's anything to be worried about?
In terms of Torment, Ties of Numenera?
Yeah.
Oh, God, no. No.
Okay.
0.
That's good.
All right, we really gotta wrap up. I'm just gonna say real quick. This will take 10 seconds. The game I've been playing throughout the entire run of Wordfunk, Tales of Grace's F.
Wait. Wordfunk and.
Oh God! Did I start playing it during Blizzard? No.
Yes, you did.
Oh my God.
You were playing it back then. This is the end of an era.
Oh my God. Well, anyway, I've been playing Tales of Grace's F for a long time. I beat the final boss, but
the first arc.
Right. But I beat Tales of Grace's, but I haven't beaten F. The way I always feel is like once the credits roll, I'm done with the game. But I love these characters so much, so I'm going. Yeah, I love them hard. So, what's going to happen is,
hard.
One day I will, I'm going to keep the game instead of, trading it back to, GameStop with what I normally do once I see the credits. And I will play.
That's the end of 2 eras.
Yeah, and I'm going to play, Lineages and Legacies or Legacies and Lineages or something, eventually. I love these characters. When without going too deep into spoilers, when the thing that almost happened at the end of the game, when a character, was...
You ruined it.
When there was almost consequences for actions, Leon?
Yeah, when something sad almost happened, I almost cried. But luckily the sad thing that did not happen, so I was like, yay! So,
I like the, antagonist. The guy who, I mean, it's hard to talk about the spoilers. I like that character.
Spoilers!
But everyone else is just kind of JRPG-y. Is there an adjective for that? They're kind of genre standard. I much preferred the cast from Vesperia.
I liked Vesperia too, but they're just adorable. And maybe oh, you know what? Maybe looking at them in HD helps. Make them feel like real people. But anyway, we are totally out of time.
Remember, kids, traffic laws are a life choice.
I don't know what that means. I'm going to have a Smash Brothers tournament, hopefully, when that game comes out. So if there's somebody from Channel Awesome you want to be in it, listeners, bother them to sign up for it. Tell them.
Somebody, no, I'm serious. People want me to play Final Fantasy 13.
It's on Steam!
I know!
Is it going to happen?
And it's cheap, too. It's like $15.
There are better things you can do with $15.
I realize that.
You just go to the store, buy a knife, come home, stab yourself. You got better value for your money.
have knives. I could buy a bottle of wine, drink it, and then stab myself with a knife I already own.
I bought Just Cause 2 for $3, so
Oh my god!
I'm dead serious on Steam. So you can get better games for $50.
That is a preposterous value.
I know. It was already really low, and then they said it's like 80% off, and now it's $2.99. I'm like, I'm buying that even if I never play it.
You should play it.
I'm gonna. All right, we gotta go.
Bye, guys.
I'm not doing it.